Dear friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Here you will find the latest news from the automotive world, test drives and interesting articles about technical development. Subscribe to my channel for the latest information on new car models, technologies and travel experiences. If you are a car enthusiast, this channel is for you. Subscribe and let's discover the car world together. With more than 400 horsepower, the NISMO provides some thrills. But since Nissan revealed the newest generation Z sports car a couple of years ago, we've been waiting for the inevitable NISMO-badged version with more performance. Late last year we got a chance to sit behind the wheel, where we learned all the differences between the Z and the NISMO, that's NISsan MOtorsport, and later drove the latter on the track and public roads. At long last, we've strapped our test gear to the Z NISMO and spent over a week driving it on our favorite canyon roads, to see if this spicier Z is worth the extra $13,000 over the Z performance version. Based on the fundamentals, the engine's output and the transmission are the biggest differentiators between the 2024 Nissan Z and Z NISMO. Both models use a twin-turbo 3.0-liter V6 engine, but the NISMO's version makes an extra 20 horsepower and 34 pound-foot of torque, for totals of 420 horsepower and 384 pound-foot. While that power bump is not quite enough to justify the NISMO's price premium, at least on paper, it's joined by a 9-speed automatic. Regular ZS get a 6-speed manual transmission option. Unlike that model, the NISMO doesn't offer a manual transmission, and, yes, we're still disappointed by that. At least the NISMO's 9-speed autobox feels modern and shifts quickly. Then there's the weight. According to our own data, the NISMO is 55 pounds heavier than the plain old Z with the optional automatic. Any extra poundage is not optimal when talking about the sportiest version of an already a performance-focused car like the Z. But how does the Z NISMO really feel on the road and on the track, given its main focus is to deliver quicker numbers, be a better track car, and return a more engaging experience? On the numbers front, the NISMO's barely better a non-NISMO Z, reaching 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, just 0.1 second quicker than the last Z performance trim we tested with the 9-speed automatic. On the quarter-mile run, the NISMO is 0.4 second quicker, completing the challenge in 12.5 seconds at 113.9 miles per hour, compared to 12.9 seconds at 107.6 miles per hour. The NISMO's performance at least outdoes the old 370Z NISMOs, but then so, too, does the regular ZS compared to the previous Gen 370Z. Are a few tenths of a second enough to set the NISMO apart? Maybe not, but the way it feels on the track is at least more engaging. Through our figure 8 test, the transmission shifts quickly and smoothly, and the chassis has a good balance between under and oversteer during cornering, according to road test editor Chris Walton. The experience is similar on the road. We enjoy listening to the engine's roar and find the chassis and suspension setup comfortable for daily driving. On poorly maintained roads, however, your back won't feel quite as good, though the punishment won't require any visits to the chiropractor. And while the transmission is a regular torque converter automatic, not a dual clutch, it downshifts quickly when needed. The steering needs work, as we find it lacks feedback for a sports car helm. And although it's precise, we'd like better feel from the road, a retro but modern cabin, like the ZS chassis. The interior is a combination of new and retro. The 3 classic gauges on top of the dashboard remind us of similar pieces in previous generations. Another retro detail is the handbrake, which is weird to see in new cars these days. We missed having a knobby shifter, as the one found in the NISMO looks out of place. It's short and fancy and would look good in a Nissan Rogue or Altima, but it just seems off for the Z. Those caveats aside, the cabin is a nice place to spend time. The 9.0-inch touchscreen has good resolution, and when Apple CarPlay is connected wirelessly, the maps and graphics are crisp and bright. We aren't big fans of Nissan's infotainment system. It's too simple in terms of content, though one new addition for this year is Amazon Alexa built-in connectivity. The driver's display is a nice step up that makes the cabin feel more contemporary. The graphics need a bit of an update. They could be cooler and more animated, but it's easy to customize the screen to our liking, and we loved the big Z logos on the tachometer. The seats provide enough lateral support to keep us centered even during hard drives on twisty roads, and they have a mix of suede and leather that feels apt for a sports car. The rest of the materials around the cabin are mediocre and largely carry over from lesser ZS, another miss given the price premium you pay for the Nismo. Despite its two-seater and rear-drive configuration, there's enough cargo room to place your backpack or briefcase plus a few grocery bags. It won't fit a set of golf clubs, though. Is it worth it? NISMO is derived from NISsan MOtorsports, and although the acronym represents the pinnacle of performance for Nissan, the Z NISMO leaves us wanting a bit more. Sure, it's a fun car on the road and it will please many enthusiasts with its driving dynamics, growling engine, and plentiful punch, but the objective performance that results is too similar to that of the regular Z, which makes us wonder if the $13,000 difference is worth such negligible enhancements and the NISMO's red-colored details and somewhat cooler appearance. At $66,230 to start and $68,435 as tested, the 2024 Nissan Z NISMO is not only too much money for a gussied-up Z without much extra performance, it's too much for a Z that plays in the same sandbox as quicker and much better sports cars such as the BMW M2, which actually costs less at $64,195, or Porsche's entry-level 718 Cayman iterations, which start at $69,950. A 500-horsepower Ford Mustang Dark Horse costs thousands less, as does the also-quicker Toyota GR Supra. All of those alternatives offer manual transmissions, too. Sure, there's a lot of nostalgia and heritage tied up in the Z and NISMO, but you'd have to really be into that history to consider the Z NISMO over more athletic, better all-around competitors, or even a non-NISMO Z.